Hey everybody, Brian Good here, latest edition of Snow Talk. We'll get you right to the board here. Keeping the board pretty much the same. We got the system coming in about a week from today. It's a southeast system. Looks interesting. We'll go into detail on that. And then I'm going to keep the period around Christmas still on the board because there's no doubt that the flow of systems moving through the lower 48 is very consistent. The question is going to be the same question we've had with every one of them so far, is the track and the amount of cold air and the depth of cold air that we will have in the lower 48, and we still don't have a lot of data to really answer that either way. So it's at least worth putting on there because it's a holiday, right? You can't take it off of there. So off to the latest look at the satellite. And when you look at the satellite image, well, one thing I want you to notice right off the bat is how the cloud deck is locked in. A lot of stratus have really locked in. Every once in a while, you're going to get some nimble stratus come through here and give us some drizzle, and this is not going to change a whole lot today. You may see a break or two that give you maybe some sun rays, but again, more than anything, it's going to be off and on drizzle that'll be an issue for the entire region for this Friday. Here's a wider view of the system. Here's the trough digging here across the Rockies, set in stage here for cyclogenesis to develop at that low pressure. You can see the energy being pulled in. That's subtropical jet, typical El Nino setup here for this low to develop and then work its way, I would say race its way, but it's going to be a crawler as it heads to our northwest for the upcoming weekend. But it is going to give us a lot of warm air. So here is your potential wind gust, okay, in the numbers you see, in the wind arrows and precipitation. You see spotty drizzle around this afternoon, maybe some gusty winds. This may be overdoing it a little bit. But notice the placement of the rain tomorrow, and that's going to be right along the actual boundary. It's going to be surging north tomorrow, and it should follow to the north, heading toward Indianapolis. So I think our rain chance on Saturday is early in the day. Could even get some sun by the afternoon. We're going to stay in that south flow, though, throughout Saturday night as well. And then we're going to stay warm and windy on Sunday. Could even see wind advisories come out for Sunday ahead of the rain band, and potential wind gusts this time could approach 40 miles per hour, if not higher. Now, we're not expecting severe weather because it's really hard to call these thunderstorms. There's no instability showing up. So this is pretty much a band of heavy rain or heavy showers that could have the potential to tap into some of those higher winds just above our heads. It could produce some isolated wind damage. I've seen it happen before with just heavy rain. So keep that in mind, that chance is there. But overall, it's just rain and some wind is the main concern with this. And a majority of the rain is going to be late evening on Sunday. So if you have plans Sunday at all, you'll be fine during the day. Sunday night, if you've got dinner plans, you'll be fine. But the closer you get to midnight and the more west you are, 65, the chances of your rain band getting into your backyard is going to start to go up. And that chance will continue all the way through the morning period of the morning rush hour on Monday itself. Then temperatures fall after that. Still talking about a record high potential as we head into Saturday. High right now, forecast high is 70. That would break the old record of 68. Forecast high on Sunday is 73. That would break the old record of 70. The warmest we've ever been in December is 76, set back in 1982. If we get enough sun and a good south wind, I've seen it happen. It could be a potential big record broke on Sunday. So we'll see how that plays out. But a lot of wind on Sunday. So everybody keeps saying, put up your your holiday decorations. Ryan Hope's sitting over here. I'm getting all my holidays confused, Ryan. It happens sometimes. Happy Easter. We are talking about the potential to maybe put up some Christmas lights and all that kind of stuff this weekend. But remember, if you're not going to anchor down your items well, Santa is going to blow down the street by Sunday afternoon. So even if you already have your stuff up, double check it and make sure it's anchored down, because I see this a lot in December with holiday decorations, and we have a lot of wind this time of the year, and we definitely do see this happen, and I've seen them blow down the street. So just kind of a heads up there on that. Not a lot of rain, by the way. Right now the model's only spitting out 3/4 of an inch, and that's really not a lot, so no flooding issues. All right, we got a lot to talk about when it comes into later next week and then Christmas. So let me get into the models for later next week here. This is the deterministic models, which change every so many hours. And then here's your ensembles, which kind of smooth out the chaos for us and give us a better idea of the setup. Here is the GFS, here is the Euro, and here's the Canadian. Now, the Euro and the Canadian, I only can see out on operational models here so far, so you'll see them fade off once we go further out in time. All right, this is Tuesday. Got a low that's moving in across the plains. Good agreement on that and on the ensemble. So it does look like after our drop in temperature Monday, we should warm back up quickly. Tuesday into Wednesday. How warm? upper 50s, could even hit 60 or so. Wouldn't rule it out. It depends on the strength of the low. But that's a possibility. And then it may end Wednesday night as a flurry or two. I'm seeing hints of that the cold air may try to catch up the tail end and change it to snow flurries Wednesday night. But the ensembles are not agreeing with that, by the way. They're saying that there will be too much of a gap between the cold and the moisture that it ends as rain. But either way, it's a very light rain event. So even if it went to flurries, it would be just that. So not a big deal. But we get into Friday and Saturday, about a week from today. This is where things get more interesting. Here's the Euro, showing a low pressure moving through the southeast. A lot of cold air. In fact, this is the coldest look I've seen to the Euro for the Central Plains states so far this season. This was the 0Z run, the midnight run of the GFS. Not as aggressive, but I will say the new run that came in a couple hours ago is more aggressive and does look a little more like the Euro. The ensembles do support at least a lot of cold air, but we'll see how much involvement that low pressure is going to have. But once it goes by, I mean, the Euro just goes crazy with cold air. Highs in the 30s. I mean, I know it's not record-breaking, but that's going to be a shock compared to the 70s for this weekend. Next weekend, we could see highs only in the 30s. Wouldn't that be wild? And the ensemble seem to agree with that setup there. And then as we head toward the 23rd, we are still seeing signs here from the GFS. There's going to be an East Coast storm that could give us backlash snow and some cold air. The ensemble's not so thrilled about that, not shocking that far out. Even Christmas morning, GFS is trying to hold on to the dream, and as a snow lover, we all are going to have to do that. We got to pull together to hold on to the dream, because at this point, with the pattern being so active right now, and the indices all over the place, it's really hard to tell how much cold air we're really going to have at that point. And so right now, confidence is going to remain low for Christmas. So it'll remain on the board, but confidence will remain low. All right, so let's backtrack. Here is the Euro for that system for a week from today into Saturday. See how it's hugging the coast. Usually we see low pressures track to the Carolinas, or they track to the west of the Appalachians. App runners, we call these. And we'll see how it plays out because, as you know, lows tend to trend more north in time. And this is a lot of cold air that is behind the system. So this could be an interesting setup. We'll see how it plays out as we head into the 19th and 20th. Here is the new GFS that came in. And it does look a little more like the Euro. It has got a low centered here across the Carolinas. It is showing that the back edge will go to snow. It does accumulate it, not much, but it does show an accumulating snow out of this, by the way. And then it wraps up as it heads toward Washington, D.C., and more of an Appalachian snow event, and the skiers will love this for the Smoky Mountains, and then it turns cold. The Canadian is real aggressive with the cold, therefore it suppresses the low all the way offshore. Kind of questionable that that will happen, but it's a possibility that it could. Right now, I haven't seen a lot of data support overwhelming cold to overtake the southeast corner of the country. Hasn't happened yet, and I really doubt that would be the case. So if anything, everything would shift more north, if anything. But we'll see how it plays out. All right, guys, enjoy the warm weather this weekend. We'll deal with all this mess next week. And by the way, I'll be in on Sunday with another update. And Ryan Hoke is going to have your update on TV today on midday at 11 a.m.